tonight, NC State christened the Kevin Keats era with a 35-point romp over VMI. Today, the opening weekend of college basketball concludes from the PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. College basketball on ESPN Networks Extra. The NC State Wolfpack welcoming the Buccaneers of Charleston Southern. Good afternoon, everybody. Alongside former NC State star Chris Corciani, Patrick Keatis, glad to have you with us tonight. Hey, Chris, 48 hours ago, 35-point win for NC State, 7 in double figures in the opening game of the era of Kevin Keats. What did he learn?
You learn the way that Kevin Keats wants to play. I mean, it's going to be 40 minutes up and down, wants to turn the game into a track meet. He was really pleased with the effort and the way they responded on the opening night.
Meanwhile, for the Buccaneers, they dropped their opener against Davidson on Friday. They fell behind 24-0. If that weren't the nadir of their night, they're playing also without Cortez Mitchell and Christian Keeling, who will continue their suspension here today. What did he learn, if anything, about that opening night?
I'd say it's tough for Coach Radeball, to get down 24-0 to Davidson early, playing with 3 freshman guards and your 2 best players not on the court to help you. It's hard to learn about your team, but they've got to regroup and get ready for 1-0 NC State today.
Players to watch. A great welcome back for NC State redshirt senior Leonard Freeman. Missed all of last year, recovering from leg surgery. What does the 5th-year guy bring to the table?
Well, he's the elder statesman there for NC State. He's been through a lot of wars and big games. Having him out there is just like a security blanket for the younger players, but had a career high 15 points, 6 rebounds. Just glad he's out there.
And with the absence of Mitchell and Keeling, the focus for the Buccaneers in just his 2nd Division I game, junior college transfer, Travis McConaughey, who Barkley Radeball says is the best pure shooter he's ever recruited.
McConaughey can flat out shoot the ball. He's a lefty. NC State needs to know where he is. For Charleston Southern, they want to find him early and often and hope he gets hot.
All right, our officials, Ted Valentine, Jerry Heater, Lee Cassell, and we are ready for basketball. The Buccaneers 0-1. They are out of the Big South. NC State 1-0. And Kevin Keats, first season on the bench, replaced Mark Gottfried, who was let go last March after 6 years. Leonard Freeman will jump center circle with Jordan Jones, packed in the home white. Charleston Southern in the navy blue, trimmed in gold, and here come the Buccaneers with the first offensive set. What can we expect from Barkley Radeball's Buccaneer offense?
They're going to do a lot of dribble drives, handoffs. NC State needs to try to keep them out of the paint. Charleston Southern, they're going to attack the basket on most possessions.
Jones kills the dribble, shot clock at 10. Here is Fleming Jr., the fadeaway, and an offensive rebound, and this is their new point guard as Buskey misses. And a loose ball on the sideline, off the foot of a Wolfpack player, and Charleston Southern, which again in that game against Davidson on Friday gave up the first 24 points. Can they have their first lead of the year? Not on that shot, but a 4th crack for the Buccaneers. Great effort by Charleston Southern. Flanders Fleming Jr., one of the top freshmen ever recruited to the Buccaneers, gives CSU the lead.
I can tell you Coach Keats is not happy with the effort there on the defensive end. Charleston Southern just out-hustled them, got 2 or 3 loose balls, rebounds. Credit Charleston Southern, but NC State didn't look good on that possession.
Torin Dorn nearly threw it away, and Sam Hunt will save out near midcourt. Shot clock at 8. Markel Johnson puts it on the deck on his first touch. Out of the corner, Al Freeman, yes. Freeman, the grad transfer from Baylor, one of their top 3-point shooters over the last couple of seasons for the Bears, and NC State leads by 1.
Yeah, Freeman's gotten off to a good start in the early exhibition games, led him in scoring. He's a nice-looking player, strong, has good balance with his shot.
Now the offense for the Buccaneers will go through number 4 in Buskey, although when Cortez Mitchell comes off of his suspension, he will shift from his off guard to the point for CSU. 5 again to shoot for the Buccaneers. Diving in is Buskey, made a tough catch on a difficult pass and can't finish in close. 3-2 NC State. And we'll talk about what is new in terms of personnel and style, both on the offensive side and defensive side for the Pack, as Kevin Keats makes his indelible imprint on this Wolfpack team. 10 to shoot. Freeman sizes up on Fleming. Now 6 for Hunt. He'll drive, whip it into the corner, and be called for, is it an offensive foul or a block? 2 of the officials come together. Ted Valentine, Jerry Heater elect to call a foul. And this will go on Charleston Southern. And we'll take a look at Barclay Rainabo in his 13th season. He's the winningest all-time coach in Buccaneer history. Spent a year at Queens College before overtaking this program. CSU has only been in the NCAA tournament once, back in 1997.
I'll tell you, Patrick, that was a bad possession. There was a lot of dribbling, no movement. And that's not what they were doing on Friday night, much more movement.
Hunt short with a three, deflects over the sideline, out of bounds to the Buccaneers. That first foul, although we had a little debate between two of the officials, Sean Price, one of three freshmen starting for the Buccaneers. Now we'll see pressure in the backcourt, and as we have a little bit of time, what will we see defensively as far as a tactical change from Wolfpack fans are accustomed to seeing the last 6 years?
You're going to see 40 minutes of pressure. It's going to be man-to-man, full court. It's going to be a little 2-2-1. They want their defense to create offensive opportunities at the other end with steals and long rebounds.
And McConaughey misfires, rebound to NC State. 3 minutes gone by, opening half, 3-2 Wolfpack. NC State off of a 102-67 win over VMI on Friday, 7 in double figures. Freeman throws back up top, Johnson's open. And that three is short, rebound to McConaughey. Charleston Southern again gave up 26 three-point field goals to Davidson, a Wildcat and Atlantic 10 record. It was a no contest from the opening tip. By the time CSU got on the scoreboard, they were down 24-0.
That's a lot of three-pointers Davidson threw up there, but you don't mind them going up as long as they're going in.
Nice little jump hook by Jordan Jones, sophomore from Baltimore, and the Buccaneers return to the lead.
You're going to see a lot of pick and rolls here with Markel Johnson. NC State's got 4 guards and 1 big, so they're going to penetrate when they can.
Doran out of control, whistled for the offensive foul. The redshirt junior from Charlotte, Conference USA Freshman of the Year a couple of years ago with the 49ers. There's a look, out of control, right shoulder dropped, and an easy call for Lee Cassell.
I tell you, you got to give Charleston Southern a lot of credit. Getting blown out Friday night, down, as we said, 24-0 to start the game. They've come into the PNC and they're up 1 and really battling NC State.
I saw this Buccaneer team a couple of times last year. Barclay raving about his previous recruiting class, and the one that he brought in this summer, he felt like was one of his best in his 13 years. So he is very, very bullish on their future, and certainly did not get off to a great start Friday. But again, he knows what he has, and they went overseas, really gelled as a team, and feel like they can make a move up in the Big South this year. In transition, Freeman gets the rattle and draws the foul on Charleston Southern. So Alaric Freeman, 5 early points for NC State, and the lead back to the pack, 15:42 to play opening half. NC State opening this season off a big win against VMI and hosting Charleston Southern. Up a point in the early goings at PNC. 5-4 lead for NC State, all 5 for Al Freeman, helping to christen the Kevin Keats era here for NC State. Enjoyed great success at UNCW. You see the list right there, winning the Colonial all 3 seasons he was there and led them to the NCAA tournament a couple of times. Only inherited 6 on this NC State roster, with some guys going to the G League, to the NBA, and some others that part of the program altogether. Certainly doesn't have the horses that he wants in his program yet, but he knows what success looks like for the Wolfpack down the line.
He can flat out coach. He's a great recruiter, brilliant mind. He had a great run at UNCW. It took him a year or 2 to get going, but ended up having a great team. I think it's going to be important for NC State fans to be patient with Coach Keats. He's got to get his right players into his system, but he is the right guy. It's just going to take a few years to get going.
This is McConaughey, challenge shot, knocks it in over LeVar Batch Jr., who's on the floor for NC State. And there's a quick glimpse into what McConaughey can do as far as shooting spot up or off the dribble, a little creative.
You know, and talking to the coaches before the game, that was the one guy that they were concerned with and they knew they were going to have to contain.
Jump pass into the corner. Al Freeman got in the air and called for the travel by Ted Valentine.
I tell you, when Al's off to a good start, that one he should just pump it up right away. Shouldn't even think about it.
Second turnover against NC State. Bats and Omer Yurtseven, first 2 subs on the floor for NC State. A 6-5 lead for the Buccaneers. A little more than 5 minutes have gone by. Jamal Thomas, number 15, on the floor for the first time for the Buccaneers, senior from Canada. McConaughey, jump stop in close. Yurt 7 blew past him, and the shot missed, and the rebound to Torin Dorn.
I'll tell you, NC State playing with a small lineup. They've got 4 guards and then Yurt 7. But, you know, they're very athletic, and all those guys are going to have to help out rebounding.
But looking to the corner, a little jab step, and the step-back jumper by Al Freeman. He has all 7 points for NC State.
Freeman makes it look so easy, but he's got great balance, and he's got a strong upper body that helps him.
Well, nice lead pass to McConaughey, and then contacted on either side. Yurt 7 and Bats. The foul will go against the NC State freshman from Concord.
There you see McConaughey going in strong. There's 2 different schools of thought breaking a press. One is just to break the press and set up into your half-court offense. But the other thing, what you're seeing Charleston Southern's doing is they're flying down, trying to take the opportunity of having a 3-on-2 break, which is really good for a young team to really attack like that.
So McConaughey, the transfer in from Florida State Junior College, knocks in the first of 2 free throws. And now a 7-7 contest. J.C. Cavan, the 6-foot senior from Greenville, South Carolina, on the floor for CSU. McConaughey makes the second. He'll get his first breather. Ty Jones, a 6'6 freshman from Mississippi, replaces him. Well, Charleston Southern defensively will see a lot of zone from Barclay Radabaugh's team, which will be interesting, especially out of Friday night when they surrendered 26 three-pointers to Davidson. But that is their bread and butter 2-3 zone defense.
Right, you know, early in the game, starting out man-to-man, and NC State seems to be a little sluggish on the offensive end, so no reason to make any adjustments now.
10 to shoot. Maybe an extra step. Pass into corner. Bats for 3. Got it. Ty Jones running at him, closed a little bit late.
Great dribble drive by Markel Johnson to find the open Bats.
And already the 7th lead change of this game. Thomas a look away. Jumps it out. This is Jamal David, and there's an 8th lead change. A 3 for the Buccaneers, and it's 11-10 Charleston Southern.
Well, that's the tempo NC State wants. They don't want them to hit that shot, but they don't mind Charleston Southern shooting fast because they want to get it and go.
With so many newcomers into each of these programs. Dump in pass. Yurt 7 with the defender David at his back. David stands 6'6". Yurt 7 at 7 foot with some quickness.
Yeah, that was a good catch, but wonderful pass. And Markel Johnson's really impressive when he gets in the lane. He's got great court vision.
Fly ball turnover, steal by Johnson. Cavan nearly picked his pocket from behind, but carry that over the baseline. NC State 5 of 7 from the floor thus far. Markel Johnson is out. Sam Hunt returns for NC State. Wolfpack leading by 1. Still man-to-man for Charleston Southern. We'll see Yurt 7 on the block. Has set a lot of screens on the outside. This is a 3 from Freeman. And right now Freeman rolling. 4 of 4 from the field. Couple of threes and a couple of rebounds. NC State with its biggest lead. And a near turnover. Creates an odd man break momentarily for the Bucks.
Boy, Freeman's off to a good start. Finding his rhythm early.
This is where the Buccaneers right now miss their point guard. And again, their point guard the last couple of years transferred to George Washington. And their new point guard this year is still serving that suspension. Cavan trying to create, that's a tough angle shot. And an air ball, and the rebound easily taken down by NC State. Here's Freeman locating Bats. Is the three-point bank still open? It is not. Offensive rebound, Dorn, hard of the hole, and finishes on the reverse.
Well, what a great athlete Dorn is. Gets the offensive rebound and elevates up to finish with his left hand.
And that is 7 straight by NC State, and it's a 17-11 lead for the Pack. Timeout taken by the Buccaneers. All Al Freeman, 4 of 4, a couple of threes. The first in the double figures, thanks to this one. Pack by 6. Brand new head coach for NC State and basically a brand new roster. The The return of Leonard Freeman, a couple of freshmen, 2 transfers coming in, and 2 grad transfers, of whom we're taking a look right now, Freeman and Hunt. What do they bring to the table for NC State as far as their skill set, Chris?
Well, again, great leadership. I mean, these are veteran players, being both seniors, playing at Baylor. Hunt's played in a bunch of big games, so they're going to give him immediate help. Coach Keats did a wonderful job when he got the job. He had to fill the void of some players that transferred and left, and one of the routes he had to go was to look for the graduate transfers in Al Freeman and Sam Hunt.
There's a look at the foul on Hunt. Hunt, 976 career points, basically all of those at North Carolina A&T. And then Freeman, part of some NCAA tournament teams, actually played in the Sweet 16 against South Carolina last year. The Buccaneers throw it away. So you're getting some experienced guys who can score, and they're kind of that stopgap group of players as Kevin Keats begins to build and bring the right players into his program.
That's right. Hunt is a great shooter. He's their best perimeter shooter, where Freeman's going to be their top scorer. Can score in a number of different ways. He can put it on the deck and get to the basket, and as you're seeing tonight, 2 for 2 from three-point line.
7 straight for the Pack. Freeman whistles one inside. Yurtseven had to kind of change his trajectory in the shot. Gets his own miss. Twist back and then lost the handle. Stripped from behind by McConaughey. Outlet Ty Jones. Stepping around, banks it in, wave it off. Offensive foul accepted by the true freshman LeVar Batts Jr.
Well, I think LeVar Batts may have caught a break there. I thought he was sliding on this. He slid there. That's a unfortunate break for Charleston Southern.
Well, there may not be any more House of Cards on Netflix. We just saw a little House of Cards right there by Batts. 17-11, NC State off the bounce. Freeman can't connect this time. Offensive rebound, Dorn. And from the baseline, a little short.
Great hustle. Dorn getting to that rebound, just came up short on the shot.
This is an undermanned Buccaneer team. Again, when you talk about the 2 guys out on suspension, as McConaughey misses from short range, then 3 NC State players couldn't decide who was going to collect the rebound and let it go out of bounds. But, this is a team that's undermanned right now. We're hearing that Cortez Mitchell, the senior from Jackson, Mississippi, and Christian Keeling, one of the top all-around freshmen in the country last year, may come back as early as later on this week for the Buccaneers. They are here. They are not in uniform. And again, they served an academic-related suspension beginning on Friday in that loss against Davidson in their season opener. But those are 2 very important pieces to this Buccaneer team.
Right. When you have 3 freshman guards starting and you're missing your 2 best players, I mean, you're dealt a tough hand. On the other hand, NC State's missing some guys as well, with Malik Abu hopefully set to come back next week.
4th turnover by Charleston Southern, 17-11. Wolfpack leading by 6, nearing the midway mark of the opening half. And Batts with plenty of speed and ability to shoot. He's an exciting player, a consensus 4-star recruit. Played under his dad in high school, gets around a tough screen. Deep 3 on the way by Hunt. Offensive rebound, Yurtseven. Twist to the front of the rim, little jump hook, nicely finished by Omer Yurtseven, 7-footer out of Turkey, who declared without agent for the NBA draft and then withdrew in late May to return to NC State.
That's good to see Yurtseven be able to finish, and he's a very skilled player, but had trouble finishing around the rim last year.
Well, that extra pass pays dividends here for the Buccaneers. Ty Jones, a quick move on the baseline, fouled by NC State.
Here you see a quick attack to the rim. Whenever you make a quick, aggressive move, good things are going to happen.
First foul on Yurtseven. So Ty Jones, 6'6", freshman from Mississippi, all-stater, scored almost 2,100 points in his high school career. This is his first free throw. Yurtseven and Hunt will leave. Markel Johnson back on the floor for NC State. Johnson's an exciting player who really didn't get a chance to put his entire skill set on display last year playing behind Dennis Smith Jr.
Well, I think it was a good year for him just to get his feet wet playing behind Dennis, but this year he has the keys to the car. Coach Keats has all the confidence in him, and he's a very electrifying player, very good off the dribble, and defensively just stellar.
Little stop-and-go move by Johnson. Charleston Southern still in that man-to-man. Didn't expect to see a lot of this here today. NC State shooting 50% from the floor. 8 to shoot. Improvising now, Bats. The floater off one leg, a bad miss. Fleming the rebound, and we get a foul on Charleston Southern.
It just seems like that offense is a little stagnant. They go pick and roll, and the other guys are just standing. And I'm sure Coach Keats wants a little bit more action on the offense. For a defensive player, it's so easy to guard a guy when he's not moving. You just stand there right with him. I was a slow player, but I could guard you if you weren't moving.
You could guard me if I were moving. Of course. Second foul on Ty Jones. A little push trying to establish position on that rebound. So to the bench he goes. NC State basketball with a 7-point lead.
You know, you were talking about them playing zone. They're playing a very soft man-to-man that appears to almost be like a zone because they're backing off of NC State, really wanting them to shoot the ball from outside and not penetrate.
This is Jones, and he walks. 5th turnover by Charleston Southern. And as well as they started, first possession, if you rewind the tape, got 4 shots up, 3 offensive rebounds. Back and forth we went with 9 lead changes, and now suddenly the offense is sputtered. Defensively not getting in the perfect position either. Yeah,
those turnovers are mounting for Charleston Southern now with 5 of them. They need to cut those down in order to stay in this game.
Freeman as the Buccaneers switch, and we get an off-the-ball foul. This will go on Charleston Southern, and that will go on Flanders Fleming Jr., who is the prize recruits of the incoming class. You see Fleming kind of leaning in toward Lee Cassell, protesting that call. So he ran around the backside of Darius Hicks right there trying to get around. What'd you see?
Oh, that was definitely a foul. I don't know what he was complaining about there, especially when it's right in front of the referee's face.
Well, a good take in the poor decision in close by Markel Freeman. Turnover NC State. Baseline drive, this is David. Tries to go to Fleming in the corner. The long arms of Al Freeman ripped it away. And another turnover, number 6 by the Buccaneers. Freeman, again, a little hesitation move. Got Flanders Fleming Jr. in the air, part of that double team to try and close him down. And a second straight foul on Fleming.
He plays at his own pace. Al Freeman doesn't let the defense speed him up. He just plays however he likes to play, and he's very strong with the basketball. He's able to finish at the rim.
So that's 2 fouls on Fleming. And Al Freeman heads to the line for NC State. 10 points on 4 of 6 shooting. Remains a 7-point lead. Now Freeman, you may not remember, actually signed a letter of intent to go play at UCLA before he wound up at Baylor, but when Ben Howland was let go for Steve Alford, Freeman was allowed to release and wound up in Waco and had a terrific career. A wrist injury cost him his freshman year, and then put up some pretty big and consistent numbers for 3 years with the Bears.
Oh yeah, I remember Al Freeman. I saw him play when he was in Charlotte, AAU basketball. He was always a big, strong kid, but just a great athlete.
8-point lead for NC State. Twisting, ball poked away from behind, and it was lost off the hands of Jamal David. And another turnover, number 7 for the Buccaneers. And the lion's share of those have come in the last 3.5 minutes.
Well, that's the way NC State wants to play. They want to have a lot of deflections. Coach Keats wants 40 deflections or more, and that means he wants them active, both with their feet and with their hands. When they press full court, you don't always want to get the steal, but you want a deflection so you can get down to the other end to score.
With all the mistakes by the Buccaneers, a little surprising they're still just within 8 points. Critical moment, and they do have some foul trouble as well. And there's a block. It'll be a foul on Deontay Buskey trying to get around his screen. So the troubles for the Buccaneers continue to mount, but down by 8 on the road. 7:52 to play in the opening half. Kevin Keats a little ragged to begin this one, but his team +8. It's NC State 20, Charleston Southern 12. Back at the PNC Arena in Raleigh, NC State and Charleston Southern wrapping up the opening weekend of college basketball. It's back. Free throw missed by Markel Johnson. And NC State up 8. And now showing some little pressure off of the missed free throw. We'll see a lot of this from NC State this year.
Yeah, different variations. There you see it off of a miss. A lot of times teams only press after a make, but NC State, you're going to see a number of different variations of pressure.
Fleming Jr. playing with a couple of fouls. Pass gets into the corner. Bosky short with a 3. Rebound tipped right back to him, and then a reach in by NC State's Darius Hicks. Well, for Charleston Southern, they grabbed an 11-10 lead. We went ping-ponging back and forth in the first 8.5 minutes of this game. They were up 11-10, had no turnovers at that stage. But now, over the last about 5.5 minutes, 7 turnovers. Shooting has not picked up, and they find themselves now down 8.
Yeah, the one thing about their turnovers, though, they haven't led to NC State baskets. So that's a positive if you look at turnovers. You don't want to turn the ball over and have it lead to layups. That's the way NC State wants to play. That's the only advantage that Charleston Southern has right now.
15 to shoot. McConaughey tries to create. Freeman nearly took it away. Off the baseline, in and out. Long back tap. He tracked down by Bosky. Out near midcourt, then he stepped on the half-court line. And there's another turnover by the Buccaneers.
We had a great angle of that, Patrick, right in front of us. He definitely stepped on it.
Credit to Markel Johnson, who forced him to have to hustle for this ball. A little tip away, and there's another little deflection. And yes, that left foot hit that white line.
Just great hustle by Markel just to track down the defender and make him turn it over.
Johnson around a Leonard Freeman screen. Al Freeman, 10 early points, gives it up to Dorn. They look for Markel Johnson, 10 to shoot. The runner across the lane, that is a tough finish by Markel Johnson for his first hoop of the game.
A little circus shot there, but beautiful finish.
Quickly the other way, the Buccaneers attack. Hand off to Fleming. Bosky, the extra pass. And that is a rock by McConaughey, but it landed right in Fleming Jr.'s lap underneath.
I'll tell you what, Coach Keats not real happy on that possession with the easy offensive rebound and putback.
That is 7 offensive rebounds already for the Buccaneers. Throwback, Al Freeman got the defender in the air, shoves off, little fade away, long. And the Buccaneers have it, down by 8. And again, looking to attack. And the pass from Fleming Jr. too far ahead of Ty Jones. And turnover number 9 by Charleston Southern.
That last possession that NC State had, it just doesn't seem like there's enough movement. And, you know, to take that shot so early in the shot clock probably isn't the best thing that they need to be doing.
For the Buccaneers, with Mitchell and Keeling out today, continuing their suspensions, there's just a dearth of players on that bench for Charleston Southern. Down 8, making mistakes. 3 players already with 2 fouls, and one of them still on the floor. And that is Fleming. Teardrop to the corner. Al Freeman fakes, gets into the paint, took an extra step, and Ted Valentine saw it.
Thought he might have got away with that, but certainly traveled.
So the Wolfpack turn it over for the 4th time, and back onto the floor comes LeVar Batts Jr. Batts is in for Al Freeman. 22-14, NC State by 8. Pressure again, a little 2-2-1 by NC State. At least to slow up the Buccaneers offense. Fleming nearly ran past the dribble. McConaughey against Dorn. Jumps into an open Fleming out of the corner. Long with a 3, and then right out of the hands of Javis Howard.
Yeah, Howard was in position, had good position for the offensive rebound, just couldn't control it.
5:15 to play first half. Light pressure in the backcourt applied by Ty Jones, broken down by Batts. Maybe a travel that wasn't called. As Markel Johnson restarts, blows past Cabin, feeds Dorn in the corner, whistle off of the ball, and it's an offensive foul on NC State. I believe they nailed Markel Johnson.
Just a great defensive play by McConaughey. Just stood in there. Markel Johnson a little bit out of control, needed to come to a complete stop before running into McConaughey.
Well, Chris, we get inside these final 5 minutes of the opening half. It's either a chance for NC State to pull away or for the Buccaneers to tighten this one up by halftime.
Right, you know, Charleston Southern would like to get a bucket here, keep it close, keep it within single digits. NC State, on the other hand, hasn't really been able to speed Charleston Southern up and play the tempo that they want.
Well, this is really where the Buccaneers miss their young star in Keeling a strip. And then some contact, and if that's on Fleming, that's number 3. So he took Batts down, and it is on Flanders Fleming Jr. 3rd foul on the freshman from Athens, Georgia.
There you see Batts with the steal, and Whew. I think NC State caught a break there on Bats. It just seemed like he went up there looking for the contact that never really arrived.
Well, you see Fleming Jr. again, not agreeing with the call, but as we saw that replay, it looked like he kind of just escaped a little contact, made it difficult for a Bats to get through, but I didn't see a great deal of contact, but it's going to be number 3 on Fleming Jr., who will leave the game after this free throw attempt. Bats misses, and Fleming heads to the bench.
It's going to be fun watching Bats and Markel Johnson play together. They're both electrifying, quick players that get up and down, play above the rim for little short guys, but they're going to be fun to watch when they play together.
Bats makes 1 of 2, and the Pack lead grows to 9. Biggest in this half has been 10. Under 4.5 to play in the first. McConaughey. And back to Kevin, who will reset with 14 on the shot clock.
That's smart right there by Charleston Southern. They could have taken a quick shot, but they pulled it out to run a play.
Kevin flips out of the corner. David takes a 3 and drains his second of the half. Not much happening offensively on that set for the Buccaneers, but a desperately needed bucket drained by Jamal David.
That's a great shot by him, but nice penetration and kick. But what's really impressive is they really ran the shot clock and made NC State work on defense.
This is Dorn off the pass. Short with a 3. David claws the rebound. And here come the Buccaneers with a chance to get to within 4 or 3. Quick move, Jones to the front of the rim, and they drop off to Javis Howard. And it's a 4-point contest, 23-19.
Tell you, those back-to-back buckets making Charleston Southern really have an opportunity late here in the first half.
Man-to-man again by the Bucks. Screen against Kevin. Pass to Dorn, snakes in, drew 3 defenders and banks it in softly. Zoran Dorn, 4 points in the half, and NC State back up 6. But the confidence growing right now offensively for the Buccaneers the last couple of possessions.
Oh yeah, you know, they get their feet set underneath them. Now that they know they're in the game, you know, it was very difficult against Davidson. They were down 24-0, never had an opportunity. Here they're settling in a little bit.
Some contact there by LeVar Bats. That'll be his second foul. And Charleston Southern hanging around in the latter stages of this opening half. Second 3 of the half by Jamal David. Deep out of the left corner. And with 2:54 to play in the first half, NC State leads the Buccaneers by just 6. 6-point lead for NC State, 25-19. Final 3 minutes of this opening half. Well, back on Friday night in Kevin Keith's debut as head coach for the Pack, a 35-point win over VMI, which saw 7 players land in double figures, 3 with career highs. But so far tonight, what we've seen, Chris Corgiani, Al Freeman came out with 10 quick points, but there hasn't been that supplementing help consistently so far.
Right, I think that on any given night, NC State's got a number of different guys that can step up and score. And that's what you saw on Friday night. I think until Malik Abu gets back, he should be the one guy that should lead them night in and night out. But, you know, as the year goes on and progresses, Coach Keats will find out who his guy is, because there's certain times in a game when he's got to step up and find a way to score.
And we get an illegal screen against NC State after the McConaughey free throw is made. Yurtseven collects his second, and now, just like that, a 4-point game, Buccaneer basketball. And that was one of the things that we were talking with Lee Cassell, one of the officials today, about something that officials are watching a little bit more closely this year is those wide screen sets. And they nailed Yurtseven for that one as the Buccaneers throw it away. Turnover number 11.
Yeah, those turnovers are really hurting. If you wipe away those 11 turnovers, you know, they're not down 4. Maybe they're up in this game, but if they need, here in the second half, they're going to have to clean that up.
Yurtseven to the NC State bench with a couple of fouls. Leonard Freeman returns. 25-21, Wolfpack leading the Buccaneers by 4. Sam Hunt, does he have this kind of range? Okay. Yes is the answer. The grad transfer from North Carolina A&T. Back to a 7-point lead. Quickly get the other way. The finish is missed on the inside by Buskey, who knocks down a pass and slows down a would-be NC State transition opportunity.
Well, I'll tell you, Sam Hunt, he is a flat-out great 3-point shooter. He's not a driver, not a guy that puts it on the floor, but can really flat-out shoot the ball.
Close it in now, 1,000 career points, 976 coming in. Wolfpack by 7. Critical last couple of minutes for the Buccaneers to stay close. Trailed by 10 early. Knifed it down to 4. And they're in that range. It could go either way. Hunt again. Different spot. Same result. Pack matches its biggest lead of the game.
I tell you what, that lefty-looking shot is just pretty to watch. Even if he doesn't make it, it just looks nice.
Ty Jones twisting in the paint. Too strong. Tip try. No. And Leonard Freeman outlets to Markel Johnson. He's ahead of the pack, and he's taken down hard. And an intentional foul called against Jamal David.
Oh, that's just terrible there. I mean, he really could have got hurt. Looks like he tried to kind of grab him, but that's dangerous with a guy going up in the air like that. Fortunately for Markel Johnson, he's fine.
Well, Ted Valentine, the seasoned ACC official, right on that call. Immediately the arms went up and the forearms crossed. So the intentional foul against David of Charleston Southern. That is his first foul. Markel Johnson will shoot 2 plus the ball. And we went from a 4-point tight contest with 3 minutes left to now maybe a chance at a mid-double-digit lead for NC State at halftime.
That's a big flip. You know, they were down 4 points just a few minutes ago, Charleston Southern, and now the lead potentially is going to grow to 12.
And fortunately, Markel Johnson is okay, but he was grabbed around the shoulders from behind by David. Knocks down both free throws. The lead is 12. It's the biggest NC State has seen today. And now David will check out for the Buccaneers, replaced by Sean Price, who returns with 2 fouls.
And I don't think that was a dirty play by David. It's just a dangerous play when a guy's up in the air. He did try to kind of grab him, but it's always scary when a guy's going full speed like that.
Inside a minute and a half for the first. 12-point lead. Hunt, the hot hand. Another one. 3 straight from the transfer from A&T, and NC State leads by 15.
Well, I tell you, that's amazing. They were down 4 a couple minutes ago, and now that lead has grown.
Buskey for the silencing shot. Al Freeman tips the offensive or the defensive rebound, and he'll jump it ahead to Markel Johnson. Back by 15. They find Hunt again. 4 straight. No. And Dorn missed time to leap for the offensive board.
I just love that Markel Johnson got that ball. His eyes were up, and he knew exactly where he was going, finding the hot shooting Hunt.
It has been Hunt's late half salvo. Steal by Dorn. Great anticipation to the hole. Switches hands, and he gets fouled by Sean Price. Another hard foul. That will be the 3rd on Price. Foul trouble already piling up for CSU.
Well, here you see Torrin Dorn get in the passing lane and go down and get fouled. Here in the last 2 or 3 minutes, the tempo has really favored NC State. They're really getting more aggressive and creating turnovers that are leading to scoring opportunities.
And you can see Dorn took that shot, forearm across the face. Taking a moment before he heads to the free throw line. Torrin Dorn averaged just under 10 a game last year for NC State. Started 18. He had to sit out a year as he transferred in from UNC Charlotte. But now he becomes really one of the leaders of this program because of the players that NC State saw depart this program last season.
Yeah, you know, losing 3 players that were a little unexpected other than Dennis Smith, you know, really opens the door for a guy like Dorn for big minutes this year. He's a great athlete, very good player, and he'll be expected to play a number of different positions for Kevin Keats.
They've been around the program now about 2.5 years. 30 seconds to play. NC State has ripped off 12 straight. The lead is 16. A poke away by Johnson. Scoops it at midcourt. He's all alone. There's the finish from Markel Johnson. NC State by 18. It's 14 straight for the Pack. Shot clock off. Driving layup, no. Rebound tipped around loose. Leonard Freeman has it for the Pack. 7 seconds left. And here comes Al Freeman. Looking for Johnson, 3 at the horn. Yes! 17 straight to close out the half from a 4-point contest to a 21-point Wolfpack lead. Markel Johnson buries it at the buzzer. 42-21, NC State at half.
Well, I tell you, that's the way NC State wants to play. The last 3 minutes was up and down, getting steals, rebounding and running. That's a key ingredient for the future for NC State.
Hunt, Dorn, and Markel Johnson lead the way down the stretch. 17 straight, ends the half, and the Pack have doubled up the Buccaneers. 42-21 at halftime. NC State on top of Charleston Southern. It's halftime inside the PNC Arena. NC State with a 21-point lead on Charleston Southern. 42-21. Patrick Enos, Chris Corciani. That was quite a tsunami that NC State just hit the Buccaneers with. The final 2 minutes and 25 seconds, Chris, 17 unanswered points with the Pack opening up what was a tight game.
I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that. There were a 4-point game, and then all of a sudden you blink, and they go on a 17-0 run. Credit Sam Hunt coming in, knocking down 3 threes. Big boost for NC State.
All right, let's take a look at some of the highlights. It began early with a run from Al Freeman, as Freeman scored the first 7 points of the game for the Pack, a couple behind the line.
Yeah, Freeman really got off to a good start early and scored 11 in the first 7 or 8 minutes. And as you see, he's very strong and physical, takes the ball to the bucket. Here, Markel Johnson finds him in the corner, step back, knock it down.
And NC State opened up an early 10-point lead. Buccaneers carved it back down to 4 within the final 3 minutes. And then all of a sudden, as the Buccaneers drew a little bit closer, it became the Sam Hunt show for NC State. But it was David, it was Deontay Buskey to keep the Buccaneers in it. They tightened it up, and then the final 3 minutes, all of a sudden, the doors were blown up by NC State thanks to Dorn, Hunt, and company.
Yeah, you know, they were very fortunate. They got out, got some steals and some easy buckets. And the crowd for the first time got into the game, which really helped them.
Sam Hunt, 3 of 6 from behind the line in that first half. Most of that damage in the last couple of minutes. The defense was active. Markel Johnson on the steal. And then the Pack kept looking for the hot hand. And here's the final shot of the half. Markel Johnson finalizes it on its own. But it was a team-wide effort of the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, they really broke it open here late in the first half. I thought we were going to have a barn burner here in the second half, but finishing the way they did the end of the first half was very, very good for NC State.
54% shooting for the Pack in the first half. They've already made more three-pointers today in one half than they did against VMI on Friday night. Well, Chris, let's talk about how Charleston Southern handles that rage of points against them the last couple of minutes and how they battle back in this game.
Well, they need to settle down, and it's good for them to have a break. Talk about what went well and what didn't. And, they certainly did a good job early in the first half handling the pressure, but the last 4 or 5 minutes was very disappointing for Charleston Southern. But they need to get going here early in the second half and get things off to a good start.
29% shooting for the Buccaneers, 14 critical turnovers, and they're down on the road by 21 in ACC country. 42-21, Wolfpack leading the Buccaneers. We'll come back with more and some ACC projections when we return. Pack leading Charleston Southern by 21. Halftime from Raleigh. NC State with a late run, 17 points inside the final 2.5 minutes, and they lead the Buccaneers 42-21. Patrick Enos, Chris Corciani, and Chris, it is the opening weekend of the college basketball season. So let's take a look and see just how smart the media thinks they are with the projections as we open up this season. And we'll start first off for the Buccaneers. Again, they were 7-11 in the league last year. Preseason pick number 8. That league has been dominated by Asheville and Winthrop the last several years.
No question. Big South has some good teams in there, like you mentioned, Asheville and Winthrop. But Campbell's got the most electrifying player maybe in the country, and Chris Clemens, great scorer, led them to the championship game last year. So the Big South is deep from top to bottom.
All right, meanwhile, as CSU opens up its conference against Longwood late in December, now to the ACC. See NC State not on the front page there. Duke, right now the consensus number 1, Carolina, Notre Dame, NC State preseason number 12. Really because I don't think the media really knows exactly what NC State has with the defections to the NBA and departures from the program, the new coach, the new players. How do you make it?
Well, I think NC State's right where they are projected, the bottom third. I think that those top teams there have a lot of returning players, very strong. Duke having Bagley, probably going to be the player of the year. That's where I go back and I said NC State fans need to be patient with Coach Keats. He's picked to finish in the bottom third. Let him get his horses in and he'll be fine.
NC State, of its first 4 conference games, 2 of them against Clemson. That might give them an opportunity to gain some early confidence. They are sandwiched around road games at Notre Dame and Duke, so that's how the first week of conference play looks for the Pack, beginning on December the 30th at Littlejohn down in South Carolina. 42-21, NC State on top of Charleston Southern. Second half on the way, Pack up 21. Ready for the start of the second half. NC State leading Charleston Southern 42-21. And Chris, let's revisit our star to watch for the Buccaneers. Travis McConaughey in just his second Division I game. 6 points through the first half, 1 out of 5 from the floor. What has made things so problematic for him?
Well, the turnovers haven't really given him an opportunity to get enough shot attempts, but they're going to need more out of McConaughey here in the second half if they want to make this game close.
Meanwhile, for NC State, Sam Hunt, who always wanted to play in the ACC, fortunately, that opportunity has now arisen for him. 9 points, all within that last 2.5 minutes smash by NC State the first half.
No doubt, Sam came in and gave him a real spark, knocking down 3 threes probably in a 2 or 3 minute span.
There's a look at McConaughey. There is Hunt for NC State. Early in that first half, we were asking where's the balance? Well, by the time we got to halftime, pretty much saw it. Al Freeman, 11 points. Markel Johnson, 9 points. Hunt, by virtue of those 3 3-pointers, he too has 9 points. Pack shot 54% from the floor in the first half. Forced 14 turnovers. Frankly, didn't do a whole lot with most of them until the last couple minutes of that half. It'll be Dorn, Johnson, along with Al Freeman, Yurtseven with a couple of fouls, and the 5th on the floor is Sam Hunt for NC State as we get underway. And a reach-in foul as NC State try to enter into Yurtseven, and that foul will be whistled against Jordan Jones, the sophomore from Baltimore. That is his first.
I'll tell you what's interesting, Patrick, we haven't seen Charleston Southern play any zone. Talking with their coaches before the game, we thought they were going to give NC State a nice dose of zone, but that hasn't happened.
Why not?
I'm not sure. I guess early in the first half, the man-to-man was paying off. They were only down 4 points. But, if NC State keeps the hot shooting here in the second half, you might see them go to them.
Well, for the second time in this game, we see an illegal screen on Omar Yurtseven of NC State, and it looks like he's been victimized by that subtle rule interpretation change by the officials. He has 3 fouls. Talking with Lee Cassell about that before the game today, about where players are allowed to set up and as far as the width from their foot to their shoulders goes. The deflection there by Markel Johnson, right back into the arms of Buskey, who banks it in with a soft touch.
That was unfortunate. Markel got his hands on the ball, but wasn't able to get it and go down the court.
42-23, a takeaway by Buskey, right out of the hands of Markel Johnson. He'll drive in, miss the jam, and there's the soft finish by Flanders Fleming.
Wow, I thought he was going to go there and just try to lay it up, and all of a sudden he tried to jam that thing in. Fortunately for Markel, he didn't make it because all his buddies would have let Markel know all about that one.
First 4 of the half belong to the Buccaneers. Trailed by 10 early, clawed back, cut it to 4 with 3 minutes left, and there's another turnover by NC State. And now this team that is beginning to gel, they really like the camaraderie on this team, trying to cut back into this game. Fleming's open from the corner. That would have been 7 straight for the Buccaneers.
This is an open 3. That's just a breakdown on defense when a guy's left alone for an open 3.
Well, NC State, this has been a sloppy beginning to the second half. Markel Johnson on the take, switches hands to the left and finish.
I'll tell you, he's super quick when he gets that ball and makes a decision to go to the rack. He's tough to guard.
11 points now for Markel Johnson, second Pack player into double figures. McConaughey got the up fake and drew the foul on NC State. And that is going to go on NC State. Goes on to Hunt, number 2. So Buskey will check out for Charleston Southern. Yurtseven is gone with 3 fouls. It's been a nice show of character, though, by the Buccaneers to begin this second half. Again, the final 17 points of that first half went to NC State.
Yeah, they bounced back nicely here in the second half with a nice little spurt on the early going.
Fleming from about 27 feet off glass for the true freshman.
When you make those, you need to call it.
He's a candidate for the Big South Freshman of the Year. He was the 5A Player of the Year in the state of Georgia. They love what Fleming brings to this team. We've seen kind of emotions on his sleeve in this contest against the Pack as Hunt misfires a three from straight on. And the Buccaneers within 16, a little bit of a pulse as Kevin Keats goes to the bench and sends in LeVar Batts for the first half of the Pack, 4 points in 11 minutes.
You know, you add your two best players to some of these young freshmen that are getting quality minutes, you know, that could be very beneficial to Charleston Southern.
And again, starting three freshmen and some guys playing out of position, frankly, and that has a big impact as well. J.C. Cavan, who transferred into the program, number 33 out of Columbia International University. That's actually the next game the Buccaneers have on their schedule against his former school, as that was deflected over the baseline by NC State. 15 on the shot clock for the Bucks. Fleming, freshman on freshman against Batts. Flips it to Price. Turns the corner, challenges Freeman, and hooks it good off glass.
What a great drive, very strong to the basket. Used his body in order to shield the defender and score the basket.
And that's another freshman, Sean Price, with his first points of the game, and it's 44-30. 21-point lead at the break. And Charleston Southern's outscored the Pack 9-2 to begin this second half until that one. Torrin Dorn rattles in a three.
Nice shot by Torrin, but LeVar Batts with the nice find.
47-30 NC State. Bounce pass, got through. McConico lost the handle, got it back, and then swatted into the band by Leonard Freeman.
I don't have many big guys out there, but Leonard Freeman there with a nice defensive effort.
Well, that's an area where NC State has had B.J. Anya over the last several years as their big rim protector, shot blocker. They'll get a little bit of that back when Abdul Malik Abu returns. He might be ready to go for that Bahamas trip next week for NC State.
You know, it's a little give and take. You know, when you play four guards, you're going to be able to be much quicker and faster, but you're also going to give up some rebounding with only one big guy in there.
Howard against Hicks. Gives it up. Price for three. And the rebound grab by NC State's Darius Hicks. Wolfpack by 17. Freeman around to Hedger. Batts enters. Back it in Freeman with a little more muscle and draws the foul on the inside against Javis Howard. Well, it's been a nice little push by the Buccaneers to begin this second half. They've outscored the Pack 9-5. And a 21-point deficit carved down to 17. 47-30, NC State leads with 15:45 to play in the second half. 17-point deficit facing the Buccaneers. There's the 13th-year head coach for Charleston Southern, Barclay Rainabo, 52 years old, who has some connections to the ACC. He was an assistant coach at Miami under Frank Haith back in 2005. He was a longtime assistant under Eddie Fogler at South Carolina in the mid-90s. And I tell you what, being a head coach of a mid to low major is no easy job because you're trying to compete, put that big year on the board, and if you're thinking about climbing the ladder, but he's very content in Charleston. He's been there for almost a decade and a half now.
I'll tell you, if you're going to be in a mid-major school, you want to be at a city like Charleston, just a wonderful place.
If you like seafood, some neon T-shirts, that's the place to be.
Exactly.
It is a beautiful campus in Charleston. 10 to shoot for the Buccaneers. And this is Cavan on the drive. Diagonal pass, Fleming, the freshman. Front rim, boy, he has all the luck, right? Front rim glass and then banks another three.
He's a good-looking player. I like his stroke. He's got a lot of confidence out there, but for a freshman only in his second game, he's having a good start to his career.
That is 12 points now for Freeman. Tip out of bounds, stays with NC State. 48-33, Wolfpack leading. And again, when the Buccaneers get all of their pieces back, and we're talking about Cortez Mitchell and also Christian Keelan, one of the top freshmen in the Big South last year, then you have guys returning to the right positions, the right rotation as NC State gets a second crack. Right now, there are a lot of Buccaneers getting a lot more minutes than they normally would have gotten. Hicks the take, has Jones at his side and drew the contact. Good job using his body against Ty Jones.
Hicks is a real good athlete. Didn't get a lot of minutes last year to showcase his abilities, but he's going to get a good look from Coach Keats in these early games. Then there'll come a time when Coach Keats is going to really get set with a certain rotation, and Hicks wants to be in that rotation.
Yeah, Hicks has always been that guy with a lot of energy in this program. 6'7" sophomore out of Massachusetts, looking for his first points of the game. And there it is. So departing is Ty Jones, the third Buccaneer with 3 fouls in this game. Fleming has 3, along with Sean Price. And already with a short bench for the Buccaneers. Hicks splits 2, McConaughey the board. (49-33). Second time Cavan's tried to turn the corner. Second time shut down. McConaughey, Price, the dump off and wave it off. It's an offensive foul on Charleston Southern. Ted Valentine right on the call. That's number 4 on Price.
I absolutely love this play. This is your senior leader standing in there doing the little things. Leonard Freeman hasn't scored a bucket tonight, but he does all the little things that help you win a ball game.
5.5 minutes into the second half. That is the first turnover by Charleston Southern after 14 in the first half. Price will sit with 4 fouls. Hunt not using the three-point line. Hands off, and the finish by Freeman. Shoved in the back. Count the bucket. NC State by 18.
I tell you, when you're a three-point shooter, the defense has to run out at you, and there you see that happen. Creates a driving lane for Hunt and a nice kick for the easy bucket for Leonard.
And that is the second Buccaneer now with 4 fouls as Ty Jones, the freshman, picks up his 4th. He too will leave. So as Freeman sets up at the foul line, Jamal David is in for Ty Jones, and another of many teaching moments for Barclay Radebow and the Buccaneers. First points of the game for Freeman. It's a 3-point play. Got a career-high 15 on Friday against VMI. Boy, good to have him back. His first game for NC State in 604 days on Friday.
Wow.
Long rehab after leg surgery a couple of years back.
I tell you, you always need a guy like Leonard Freeman on your team that doesn't care about scoring. He just wants to win ball games. And being a senior, he's going to be very helpful for this young team.
Fleming had Hunt look the other direction, and then Fleming buried the long jumper. And a foul deep in the backcourt against Charleston Southern. Fleming, meanwhile, 3 threes, all different varieties. 1 off glass, 1 barely ticked the front of the rim, used the glass in the way in, and that one stroked perfectly off the deep left.
He's not scared out there, I'll tell you. He likes the competition. He's the one guy that really can shoot the ball and help this team win some ball games.
It's 15 points now for the freshman. Fleming had 6 in his collegiate debut on Friday. 52-36, Wolfpack leading. Bats off the bounce, the reload. David the rebound.
It's just a bad shot. You know, early in the offense, a forced contested jumper. Coach Keats was shaking his head. He didn't like it.
And McConaughey with the violation. The heel on the sideline.
NC State's offense is best when they're going pick and roll and they're moving the ball from side to side. It gets a little stagnant at times, and it gets one-on-one and the other 4 guys are standing. That's not what you want to see.
Pack led by 21.5. There's a lob to the rim, broken up beautifully by Javis Howard. That was a sure 2-handed thunderous dunk, but the other way, McConaughey finishes on the reverse and on his backside.
What a dime. That pass was just beautiful by Husky. Bounce pass laid it right to McConaughey, and he was able to score with the reverse layup. But just great court vision in that play. Here you see him, a little bounce pass, led him just enough for the easy bucket.
I will say this about the character and fight of these Buccaneers. Again, taken in full context, that game on Friday, they gave up the first. Here, you're ready to begin your college season. You put in the months of practice, the weight room. First game, lights come on. You give up 24 straight points. It's ball game against Davidson. And now they've found themselves down by 21, and now they're battling back here against NC State. McConaughey bounce pass, Buskey, and he will finish, and the Buccaneers down just 12.
Hey, partner, you hit me last time for the bucket. I'm returning the favor.
Unselfish and growing confidence for the Buccaneers. They have scored 7 straight. And now the Wolfpack a little back on its heels. Now, who will take over for NC State when they face some adversity? Again, a roster that has been almost wholly changed over from last year. 5 to shoot. Dorn for 3. No, in and out, and David cleans up the miss, and the Buccaneers can get to 10 or maybe 9. Fleming flips it off to Buskey. McConaughey got the defender in the air, faking again, and passes it off to Fleming. Plenty of time on the shot clock for CSU.
The momentum of this game certainly has changed to Charleston Southern's favor.
McConaughey dumps it in deep. The kick to the corner. David for 3. And Leonard Freeman the rebound. That was a good stroke by David.
Wow.
That would have cut it to 9. Off the front of the rim, no good by Al Freeman. Foul on Charleston Southern. They've done a very good job on getting one and dones, but the Buccaneers have outscored the Pack by 9 in this half. And on the dish from McConaughey, Buskey will finish, and the Buccaneers fighting back. 11:26 to play. NC State by just 12. Coming up for NC State as they open up the year, 4 games in a 7-day span. Bryant on Tuesday night, and then back to another Big South competitor with Presbyterian. The Blue Hose will be coming here on Thursday. And each of those games tip off at 7 o'clock Eastern on ACC Network Extra. Patrick Keenan is Chris Corciani, and a little sweat now from Kevin Keats. He ran off to a 21-point halftime lead thanks to 17 consecutive points to finish the half. But the Buccaneers in this second half have shot 62%. They've knocked down threes, and they've made it a game as that free throw turns it to a 13-point Wolfpack lead.
I tell you, at the end of the first half, NC State put a barrage on them, and they could have really laid down the second half and mailed it in. That's not the case with Charleston Southern. They've really come out here early in the second half and put up a fight, trying to cut it to single digits.
Well, here comes the pressure off of the made free throws by NC State, is trying to wreck the tempo that Freeman and company, or probably Fleming and company, have for CSU. And there they do, force the turnover from the freshman. Fleming tried to push a left-handed bounce pass on the inside.
But again, Leonard Freeman steps up to the penetrating player, makes the player make an error pass. But they're the little things you talk about Leonard Freeman, what he does. It doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but his teammate got beat on dribble penetration. He steps up and helps him out. 6
points, 5 rebounds, and a couple of turnovers forced by Leonard Freeman. Now he'll come up and try and set a screen for Al Freeman, which he does. Dorn looking low. 9 minutes gone by, second half. NC State by 14. Al Freeman got the defender in the air, moves left, fires home a 3. Al Freeman, his first points of the half, 14 for the game.
And when he gets his feet set, his shoulders squared, he's going to knock down a high percentage.
And a silly foul out near midcourt taken by Markel Johnson, trying to slow down the ball handler, number 2 on Markel. 57-40, Wolfpack leading by 17. Man-to-man by NC State, switching on some screens. Buskey running point for now, not when Cortez Mitchell returns, which could be later this week. Throws it away, and the outlet to Markel Johnson. Long pass to the knees, grabbed by Al Freeman. And the Pack will now set things up in the half court. Markel Johnson spins one in, reaching in and taking it away, Jordan Jones. Good anticipation. And McConaughey down the floor, fingertip layup. Yes! Foul on NC State's Dorn. And the Buccaneers not done yet.
They just rushed the ball up the floor to McConaughey. He takes it hard to the basket. He gets smacked in the head and was able to finish.
Meanwhile, credit that opportunity for the Buccaneers on Jordan Jones. His length, using just one arm to take away that spinning, skidding bounce pass.
Right. The other thing is Markel Johnson can't make that bounce pass from the top of the key. He's got to be on an angle in order to make that entry pass.
Three-point play, McConaughey. He has 11, and it's a 57-43 game. Fleming rubbed off by the pick. Dorn looking back door, not there. Al Freeman, he has this range, takes the freshman, then dribbled it off of his foot. Save to Dorn, spins toward the rim, blocking foul, bucket will count. Big finish by NC State on a near lost possession.
Yeah, that possession was very sloppy. Again, seems like there's just a lot of one-on-one and people standing. And like I said earlier, very easy to defend people when they're not moving.
Cabin picks up his first foul. Well, Al Freeman dribbled it off of his foot, almost led to the turnover. Then from his back, the ball rolled into his hands, and he didn't just sit on it. He passed it away to lead to that potential three-point play as Dorn is long with a free throw. And Charleston Southern, not sure how McConaughey and Fleming didn't connect on that pass in the backcourt, but you cannot have those mistakes if you're a Big South team in ACC country trying to rally from 16 down. And Barclay Radeball calls timeout, and look, the look on his face tells you everything you need to see. That was an unwise decision and a big mistake. 59-43, Wolfpack leading the Buccaneers by 16 with 9:39 to play in the second half. Week 2 college basketball season. Later on this week, NC State with Wes Moore, the reigning women's coach of the year in the ACC, takes his undefeated Wolfpack against UNC Asheville Wednesday at 7 o'clock, ACC Network Extra from Reynolds Coliseum. Women a victory today over Davidson. NC State on the men's side for Kevin Keats, trying to get to a 2-0 start. Yurtseven back on the floor with some foul trouble today, and that one blocked a couple of times right back into his hands, and finally called for the travel. Excellent interior defense by Jordan Jones and the Buccaneers.
They collapsed on Yurtseven, and he's struggling in there, and you'd like to see him make a couple shots, gain his confidence. I think last year he just never really got his feet underneath him and was comfortable, and I know NC State fans are hoping that he has a big year this year, and he's going to have to make shots like that. David out of the corner. As Yurtseven at 7 feet ran it and missed his shot. Pump fake on the inside, and McConaughey banks it in and drew the foul. And that's going to be number 4 on Yurtseven. And that's maybe part of the problem with Yurtseven, at least today. He's been on the floor 8.5 minutes and picked up 4 fouls. No opportunity to make his shots or get in a rhythm. Right, you got to have some minutes in order to get in a little rhythm. But when you're in foul trouble, a lot of times people are in foul trouble because they're out of position. And, you know, the pick and roll is one thing where Omer Yurtseven has struggled on, trying to guard the quicker guards when they come off on the pick and roll. Back to a 13-point game. NC State led by 21 at the half. Buccaneers cut it to 12. 3-ball missed. Offensive rebound NC State, and a foul on Jamal David of the Buccaneers. That was the first time all game we saw Charleston Southern in 2-3 zone, and opened up a free look for Al Freeman, but he wasn't able to knock it down. So David will check out for the Buccaneers. And again, there's a lot of foul trouble right now for CSU. Ty Jones has 4 fouls. John Price has 4 fouls as Jones returns to the floor with those 4. And Leonard Freeman to the free throw line for the Wolfpack. Freeman 4-4 from the line. That's good to see. It's a 14-point lead, and be able to push it up to 15 for NC State. But Charleston Southern certainly hasn't gone away, and they're one good run away from really getting back in this ball game. And Freeman misfires there. The lead holds at 14. Some pressure again off of the missed free throw, which is very unusual, but NC State, this is becoming a staple of theirs. Cabin drives, gives to Fleming. Lost the handle and a reach-in. This will be a foul on NC State. Ted Valentine saw a reach or a push on Torrin Dorn.
6th foul in the pack, non-shooting.
You want to be aggressive and you want to be able to move your hands and your feet, but you have to do it without fouling. You know, fouling's the one thing that coaches get really angry with because it puts the other team on the bonus line.
Fleming creating on the baseline, misses the short jumper. And the strong side rebound to NC State's Al Freeman. 60-46, Wolfpack by 14. Skip pass to Sam Hunt, who hit 3 threes in the final 3 minutes of that first half. Nothing since. And this will be a foul on Cavan, trying to fight through the screen by Freeman. Solid screen. There's no chance for the 6-foot Cavan to fight through that screen without being whistled for a foul there every time, because that was a building of a pick set by Freeman.
I tell you, Freeman has a big body, broad shoulders, and yeah, a little 6-foot guy's not going to get by there too easy.
That's 10 team fouls now in the Buccaneers, so 2 free throws the rest of the way. Hunt knocks it down, and he moves into double figures, the 4th Wolfpack player in double figures today. They had 7 on Friday. Cavan and Jordan Jones are off the floor for the Buccaneers. Couple of free throws by Hunt. Lead is 16, and pressure again by NC State. 4 defenders in the backcourt.
They need to hurry up and get it over.
And there's the call. It's a 10-second violation against the Buccaneers. They've been towing that line a couple of times in this game, and finally the NC State defense gets the call.
And as a player, you have to have that internal clock, and you're playing, but you're also, you know, doing some counting because you know that 10 seconds is coming up.
20 turnovers by the Buccaneers. Under 8 to play. NC State, you feel comfortable at this stage if you pack up by 16. Al Freeman, tough angle shot. And McConaughey tips the rebound to a teammate. We have a foul on NC State. So immediate timeout. Wolfpack led by 21. Buccaneers got it within 12. It's back to 16. And the Buccaneers will be at the free throw line when we come back. Wolfpack 62, Charleston Southern 46. $16-point lead for NC State on the Buccaneers. Just very little margin for Barclay Radebaul's Charleston Southern squad off of that loss against Davidson Friday. Trailed by 21, rallied back, but now foul trouble with 2 players with 4 fouls. A thin bench with a couple of other players still serving academic-related suspensions today. So what hope does Barclay Radebaul have for these final 7:42, Chris?
It's tough, as you mentioned. You know, they came out the second half, played extremely well, but now the foul problems are mounting. They just need to, you know, try to cut it under double digits, and in the last 8 minutes make a big push.
Ty Jones rebounds the missed free throw. He can't complete, and NC State will bring it down the floor. They look to push the tempo. 7.5 to play. Al Freeman probing. LeVar bats the quick take. Back to Freeman. 8 to shoot. He'll improvise and hit the elbow jumper right over McConaughey.
He's silky smooth. When he goes to his left, he seems like he raises up, and his release really looks nice.
16 points for Freeman. Had 17 in his pack debut on Friday. Under 7 to play, the lead back to 18 for the Wolfpack. And McConaughey whistled that one over the head of Jameis Howard. Barclay Radebaul looking for a deflection. We get a look at the NC State bench and, you know, how they've distributed their points at another evenly distributed contest for the pack. 4 in double figures. Freeman with 16 leading the way. Jump pass in deep. Leonard Freeman might not have been sure exactly how close he was to the rim.
Yeah, that's when you got to finish, when you get a nice pass from your point guard. You got to knock it down.
Well, full credit to Bats for poking away that basketball, and then Markel Johnson couldn't handle it on the sideline. Stays with the Buccaneers. We talked about the deflections, the quick hands. Markel Johnson, LeVar Bats. I mean, they fit kind of the statute of what Kevin Keats wants as far as the quickness on the defensive side for NC State.
That's exactly right. You know, those 2 players are a perfect fit for Coach Keats' system.
Fleming the miss, another offensive rebound for the Buccaneers. That's 14 in the game for CSU. The extra pass, Buskey. That's 3. His first of the game. 64-49 NC State.
Hey, Husky's had a nice floor game. He's done a lot of nice things. He had that back-to-back nice plays early in the second half, but he's going to be a nice player for Charleston Southern.
This is Markel Johnson. He can't answer. Offensive rebound, Leonard Freeman. Lost the handle. A steal by McConaughey. Gets past Al Freeman. Takes on Markel Johnson, and the finger roll is missed. Loose ball, Ty Jones, and he'll finish off the right side. 5 quick wins by the Buccaneers with 5.5 to play. It's back to a 13-point game.
Yeah, there's no quitting this team, and that starts with the coach. He's over there coaching his heart out, and his kids aren't going to lay down.
Al Freeman thought about the long one. He'll take it and get bumps. And looked like it came down a bit awkwardly on an ankle. Foul on Charleston Southern.
Yeah, he looks a little gimpy out there running around. When he landed, it seemed to not land clean.
And still try to fight it off. We'll take another look as the foul goes on Javis Howard.
Comes to a jump.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Stepped on the left foot of Javis Howard.
Yep.
And that was a quick little snap. And the officials are giving Al Freeman an opportunity to get the bees out of his body.
They're the ones that you don't feel too bad now. You wake up in the morning and that thing's ballooning up. You're almost better off staying out there playing since it's nice and warm.
Certainly has gotten Drew Moore's attention, the athletic trainer for NC State. Freeman makes the first. McConaughey leaves for the Buccaneers as Sean Price returns with 4 fouls. Didn't affect the free throw stroke, though. A couple of clean ones by Al Freeman. 18 for Freeman.
Shows you what kind of warrior he is. I mean, getting that injury, he's out there, doesn't want to come out, wants to keep competing.
You're saying you would have airballed 2 free throws, Chris?
No, I would have stayed. I never wanted to go out. I always said, if you ever ask to go out of a game, your backup comes in and does well, then you end up being his backup.
You're Wally Pips.
Yeah, exactly.
Foul on Freeman of NC State. The pack over the limit, so free throws coming up for, I believe, Ty Jones. Well, Barclay Radebaugh has every reason to feel very content about the future of this program. He feels he's stacked together a couple of great recruiting classes, likes the chemistry. There was some subtraction from this team at the end of last year that he feels is going to be a net positive for the Buccaneers.
At some of those lower to mid-level schools, you have to put together back-to-back recruiting classes and then have them mature. You take your lumps early and hope that when they become juniors and seniors, they'll mature and really have a good rapport with one another.
Boy, great hands by Buskey. Just took the ball right away. Lead touchdown pass, and Jones can't take the handle and flips it right back to NC State. 4:40 to play. NC State by 15. Out of the corner. 3 on the way. Missed by Batts. And Price, I believe, touched it while he was on the baseline, but Yurtseven might have knocked it out of his hands. It will stay with the Buccaneers.
I always said the toughest shot is the one Batts just took when you're wide open. No one's around you. Always tends to be the toughest one to knock down.
Gavin returns for Buskey. 66-51. NC State by 15. The Wolfpack not the only ACC team the Buccaneers will see this year. A week before Christmas, they head down to Tallahassee and take on Florida State. Cavan dumps it in. Howard. Yurtseven with 4 fouls defended. 8 to shoot.
NC State doing
Fleming whips it in. Howard is there and drops it in. Boy, a lot to like of Fleming's game.
You know, that's the beauty of their offense. There's a lot of movement. They were very patient. They worked the ball from side to side. Then they hit the cutter late in the shot clock for the basket.
Inside of 4 minutes, it's a 13-point lead for the Wolfpack. NC State has missed 7 of his last 8 shots. Posting up Yurtseven. Now he'll come out and set a screen for Markel Johnson. Ducks in. Hooks it back to Yurtseven.
Just a beautiful slash by Markel Johnson. I mean, that guy has eyes in the back of his head. Can really make things happen. Great point guard.
Fleming taking on the entire pack defense, and then Yurtseven blocks away the scoop layup try. Outlet Markel Johnson. Shovels in the paint. It's in and out of the hands of Al Freeman. And a foul called, and we'll see against whom it is called. It's going to go against NC State's Al Freeman. 3:18 played. Buccaneers down by 15. The two-man game. Johnson, the hook pass back to Omar Yurtseven for the dunk. Back by 15. Coming up on Tuesday night right here at the PNC Arena, NC State takes on the pride of the Northeast Conference, the Bryant Bulldogs. Lost their opener on Friday by 25 points to Georgia. They come here to NC State, 7 o'clock tip-off on ACC Network Extra. 3:18 left, second half. NC State is bent a bit in this second half, but they're up by 15, 68-53. It's been a prideful game by the Buccaneers, an undermanned Buccaneers side, but NC State just better athletes across the board, some fairly even distribution scoring-wise. NC State with 4 in double figures, led by Al Freeman's 18 on 6 of 13 shooting. All right, Chris Corciani, game over game, where have you seen the improvement for NC State from Friday to today?
You know, I think Friday they put together a solid 40 minutes. They were really good throughout the game. They really never let up. I think in today's game they've had spurts of some really good play and good action, and then they've had kind of letdowns, and that's the kind of thing Coach Keats is going to want to see, the consistency throughout the game. You want to see 40 minutes consistent play.
And there are some key guys on the bench for NC State. One of them, Abdul Malik Abu on the right side of your screen, could come back later this week or might try to come back for the game against Arizona in the Bahamas coming up later on Thanksgiving week when NC State takes that trip down there. But there's also the issue with Braxton Beverly, and who knows how this will matriculate through the NCAA appellate crew, but Beverly was kind of caught in the spider web of Thad Matta. And Ohio State when he was let go, and NC State hoping that he is allowed to play this year by the NC State. The Pack hoping to have that resolved by the time they get on that charter flight to the Bahamas a week from tomorrow.
Well, they certainly should do the right thing. Very unfortunate for that young man not to be able to play when he was only doing the right thing, trying to get a head start with his education, and rolls in summer school. Coach Thad Matta leaves, and you know, if he doesn't go to summer school, he's eligible.
Right.
I mean, it's one of those things where even when Ohio State says, gosh, I can't believe the NCAA won't allow Braxton to play, we're hoping for something good. I think not only NC State, I think people in general.
I think what's interesting about the case, too, is there's no precedent. This has not at least been experienced by another player with a coaching change where the NCAA has ruled, no, you are ineligible to play. So there may be an opportunity, because this is a first-of-its-kind issue, where smarter heads potentially could prevail and allow Braxton Beverly, who has been practicing with the team, is expected to travel with the team to the Bahamas, even if he's not yet cleared to play. But certainly the NC State coaching staff crossing every finger and toe they have that Braxton Beverly will be allowed to play. A freshman from Hazard, Kentucky, playmaker, big shooter out of Hargrave Military Academy. What would he potentially bring to NC State if allowed to play?
Oh, he really helps them right away. Very good shooter, heady player, gritty. You know, with Markel, Johnson, Batts, and Beverly, that's a nice little rotation. And the way that Coach Keats wants to play up and down, he just doesn't have enough bodies right now with Beverly and Malik Abu out. He wants to play 10 guys because that pace wants to be a lot more up and down than we've seen tonight.
Which means you're needing 7 or 8 guards.
He
would be a big one.
Yep.
Yurtseven splits a couple of free throws. We're inside the final 3 minutes. Kevin Keats, NC State Wolfpack, up by 17. Biggest lead has been 21. That was at halftime. 3 off of the handoff, missed by McConaughey. Yurtseven the rebound, and the 7-footer from Turkey with some handles. Took a couple of long dribbles, covered about 20 feet of space.
I'd like to just see him just get loose and relaxed. I mean, he's a good ball player.
Nice little jump hook with the left hand there by Yurtseven.
He just needs to stop thinking and just go play ball. I mean, he's very talented, but I think sometimes he gets a little mechanical out there.
I think that's one of the reasons why Kevin Keats would have him on the floor right now, up by now 19 points. He just has not had many fluid rotations in this game here today because of foul trouble. Challenges that one, but rolled over a little bit late and high off glass.
Wow.
Flanders Fleming Jr., another bucket, And Fleming with 17 points, 13 in this half.
It's a heck of a shot there, going up there, throwing it up with his left hand, nice and soft off the glass. He's a good-looking player.
And Fleming screaming at Markel Johnson as he closes defensively. I like it. I like his energy. I like his passion. Yurtseven from the baseline. Back-to-back hoops for the 7-footer.
That's big for him. You know, back-to-back buckets, gets his confidence. You know, he struggled early in the game, but now he's getting a little something going.
And that went off the side of the glass, and Yurtseven, just reaching double figures, has fouled out. The 5th Wolfpack player into double figures, and the 1st Wolfpack player to 5 fouls. So Yurtseven is gone, 11 points in just 12 minutes of play on 5 of 8 shooting. Nice applause for Yurtseven, and a handshake from his head coach, Kevin Keats.
That's good to see. They're going to need him for NC State to really make a big push in the ACC play. They're going to have to get some big things out of Yurtseven.
74-55. First free throw knocked down by Buskey. Well, what would be, since we are at the end of the first weekend of college basketball, what are realistic expectations for you, for the fans? I'll say this 2 different ways. With the team NC State has right now, and then maybe how many wins might a Braxton Beverly bring to this team? What are expectations from you?
You know, I think he certainly helps them out. I just think that with the personnel right now, we're picked to finish in the bottom third of the league, and that's probably fairly accurate. You know, you'd like to see them win a few close games and move up and be in contention to try to get a berth to the NCAA tournament. You know, but right now this team is young, doesn't have a lot of bodies, and it's going to take some time for Coach Keats to get his recruits in to his unique system, and I think that's going to take a couple years.
Well, past performance is any indicator. It may not take a long time to turn things around here for NC State with what Kevin Keats was able to do under Jimmy Bass, the athletic director at UNC Wilmington. He hired a beauty and won the CAA regular season each of the 3 years, went to the NCAA 2 years. I mean, he was one of the hottest names around college basketball for that big step to the big stage. Takeaway by Dorn, blocked it down with his left hand, controls, fakes the look away, and finishes right at the rim over Ty Jones.
Wow, that was beautiful. Nice steal and finish. Did it all up by himself.
Matches the biggest lead of the game, packed by 21. McConico will dump it off as we're inside a minute.
You know, you were talking about Coach Keats. I mean, he is a great recruiter, and he did that at Wilmington, and he's gotten out of the gates right away, bringing in 4 top players for next year.
Fleming too long on that three-pointer. He's taken 16 of their 51 shots. But this is all Torin Dorn. A lot of things happening here. Fakes the look away and then finishes over a little bit of lower body contact from Jones.
Just a great athlete to be able to get up in the air and extend to lay it in.
And meanwhile, Ty Jones has just fouled out for Charleston Southern. So Jones gone. 3 points for the freshman. And Markel Johnson will be at the free throw line for NC State. Well, now let's talk expectations. And over the first weekend of play now for Barclay Radebo, certainly he's playing without all the bullets in his gun with Cortez Mitchell, the senior, who's going to be his point guard, out. Christian Keelan, one of the top freshmen in the Big South, finished runner-up for that award last year. He's out. They expect them back maybe their next game or at least in the very near future. What are their hopes?
Well, the good thing for having those players out, it gives an opportunity for some of these younger players to showcase their abilities. But then when those 2 stars get back, they're going to have to gel, and everybody's going to have a new responsibility. But this gives some players an opportunity that, you know, to be able to showcase before the stars get back.
Shot clock is off. 78-56 NC State. So the Pack got pushed a bit. They grabbed an early 10-point lead. Buccaneers closed to 4. And then 17 straight in the final 2:25 of the first half. Kind of set the tenor of this game. And NC State is going to walk away to a 22-point win and a 2-0 start for Kevin Keats as he shares a moment with Barclay Radebo. It's a final. 5 in double figures for the Pack. A 22-point win over Charleston Southern.
I'll tell you, it's a great way to get out of the gates, go 2-0. Coach Keats still hasn't lost a game as an NC State coach. We hope that continues for a long time.
Omar Yurtseven in double figures, 1 of 5. The Pack led by Al Freeman in his second NC State game. He pours in 18. Markel Johnson with 12. Sam Hutt with 11. Dorn 14. Yurt 7-11. And a 22-point win for NC State over the Buccaneers. On behalf of Chris Corgiani and the entire ACC Network Extra team, Patrick Keeney saying so long from Raleigh, where the Pack defeats the Buccaneers 78-56. I don't know. We'll see. Probably.